I remember when all that stuff started, and back then I was working at. I worked for a little while at Plinkett there near the waterworks area,
Right.
and then I was. This would have been in the late '80s, early '90s. I was working at Plessis Road, and then this guy, Mr. Canada, was arranging these bus tours to
Mm-hmm.
go to these to the gambling to the casinos on the reservations in Minnesota,
Right.
and I don't know if there was any in North Dakota, but definitely Minnesota. And like these packages, they were priced very attractively. It was like $90 or something like that. That included the hotel room, include I think there was a couple of meal comps in
Right.
there, and
Right.
plus they gave you something like $40 in gambling tokens or something like
Yeah.
that. So it was almost a free vacation, right? I guess
Right.
their idea was, you know what, we'll give them the freebie, and there's a good chance they will lose far more than the
Oh.
$40 that we're going to give them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you know, I remember when the province was talking about, because they hadn't built that place yet in the Hotel Fort Garry. Remember that was the first one. It was kind of a higher end.
Well, I think they transformed. Wasn't that one of the big wedding reception rooms? Or maybe you're right.
I don't
No,
know. I
no,
don't know. I've never seen it. I don't know where it was. Like there was a big reception room called the Selkirk Room
yeah.
in the Fort Garry Hotel. But anyway, the government ran like where they had tables and stuff like that. I think
Right.
upstairs.
Yeah.
And then I guess that was successful, and they decided, you know what, we're going to go into VLTs and stuff like that. I never, in my wildest dreams, did I imagine that there would be that many millions of dollars waiting to
Yeah.
jump out of a senior citizen's pocket
Yeah.
to go into the government coffers.
Oh yeah. It was.
Because you go in there, it's all people that look like you and me.
Oh, I know.
Nobody is laughing. Nobody's joking around and high fiving. They're just sitting there with a miserable look on their face. They're going tap, tap,
Some,
tap, tap
sometimes all day.
all day, watching their RSP money disappear.
All day. Yeah. Like yeah.
Yeah.
And with the Nomads, we were given a place every. Can't remember, it was Thursday night, and we could sell the bingo cards
Yeah. Like at the casinos.
at the casinos.
Okay.
So because in order to help sell the whole casino ideal to the public,
Right.
they made it sound like, oh, we're
Oh,
good.
community service
Yes.
spin on it. Oh, that was
Yes.
clever.
So
Okay.
so we would get a percentage of the amount of cards that we sold.
Okay.
And of course, these things, sometimes they would change, but we averaged in a night. We normally our club usually got from $200 to $300,
Okay.
and that's for our club, it's big money, right? It's free money.
Yeah, and how many times a month can you tap into that?
Yeah, well, and then eventually they discontinued that because the people, apparently the patrons, they didn't want to use the paper anymore. They wanted to go the electronic bingo.
Oh, okay.
So as a result, we were surplus. We weren't needed.
Oh, so you were there on like as a volunteer,
I would, yeah,
selling cards and dabbers and stuff like that, and in exchange you would get a percentage?
well, we would sell the cards
Okay.
to the people who dabbed, right?
Okay.
But then they discontinued all paper,
Okay.
so it's just electronic. So therefore, they didn't need anybody to sell anything.
Right.
So we were surplus. So they didn't need the clubs anymore.
Oh, so they still had all the income from the bingo.
Yes.
But it was all sort of a self-serve by virtue of being electronic. So there was no community service involved in selling cards and dabbers.
So their expenses were actually cut down
Well, yeah, of course.
because
And
now they didn't have to pay us the $200, $300.
wow.
Yeah, and there was about 8 in any given night. Well, and they ran those bingos, I think 6 of 7 nights, and there was about like 8 to 9 clubs who were in on that, and they eventually got nothing.
Right.
0. So 0 expenses for the casino.
Right.
0 money for us.
Yeah.
So they were ahead. But yeah, it was like when I volunteered, I was usually there from 6:30 at night till 9:30.
Right.
But I didn't find it's just most of the time you're walking around, going through the various tables,
Right.
and a guy was, he'd wave his finger,
Mm-hmm.
and you'd go there, and of course, they wanted cards with special numbers on them, and you'd pick those up, and then at the end of the night, you'd cash out,
Mm-hmm.
right? And but then it was one year they said, "Hey, we're going electronic.
Mm-hmm.
Your services are no longer needed," and that was it.
Mm.
But yeah, they went like, what did they build first? Did they build Regent first, or did they build McPhillips
I don't
first?
know.
But those became big
Oh
money.
man.
Because there's you don't really know how big it is until you get in there,
Mm-hmm.
and they have them various rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Some are for they'll have certain bands play, and they charge for that. Some are theme rooms. Sometimes a train station. Sometimes like a Saudi Arabian look.
Jeez.
Yeah. But the interiors are you got the machines,
Mm-hmm.
right? You got some rooms that are strictly cards,
Mm-hmm.
like blackjack, right? And some I'm surprised, like how some of those things were pretty, like big. But we're talking $1,000 limits. I never thought they'd go that high. I thought it'd be like $50, $100, right?
Yeah.
But no, some of the card games you could see the high-end people.
Yeah.
$100, $1,000, and of course they have the buffet,
Yeah.
which attracts people. Right?
Yes. That's their loss leader.
That's their loss
That's
leader.
to bring people into the building.
Yeah, it work. It really does work.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember walking in there. There's not a window in that place.
No.
Not a window.
Yeah. And Vegas is the same thing. They don't want you to know what time it is.
No.
And they pump in oxygen into the venting to kind of keep your energy levels up.
Yeah.
They probably pump Ritalin through.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
My name's Diane. I'm a volunteer here at Riverview,
Right.
and I help out with a patient experience survey, and we're just looking for feedback from patients on the type of care they've received at Riverview. 3 short questions.
Sure.
Is this a good time?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just have to set up that we're on the 3rd floor. Okay. So would you like to put the responses in yourself, or do you want me to read them?
Well, if you could read them.
Read them out, okay. So overall, my experience at Riverview has been, and they ask you to rank it between 0 and 10, with 0 being poor, 10 being really good.
My experience has been great, so I would rate it as a 10.
10, okay. And then overall, do you feel the staff have treated you with dignity and respect?
Oh, definitely.
And the responses are yes, always, yes, sometimes, or no?
Always.
Always, okay. And then the last question is just open-ended, and it just asks if you have any suggestions of what could improve your overall
Oh.
experience.
Definitely. This sounds a little mundane, but what I find is, for me in particular, because I can't get out of bed, there's no way of me of opening or shutting the lights.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and I even asked some of the nurses and aides, like, why is that? And they could not, for the life of them, give me a reason why that is. And it makes no sense that, why couldn't I have a switch?
Yep.
Because unfortunately, let's say I decided to call it a night, and I want to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to buzz
Yeah.
using their time, and I think
That's a
their
good
time
point,
could
yeah.
be way more
Yeah.
constructive in doing something else than having to come and shut the lights or open the lights. I just don't understand what could possibly be the reason why they're not accessible to the patient. Because, like, we have cords here,
Mm-hmm.
so it can't be the fact that there's cords.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just think that's one of the things that could be improved.
Yeah, okay. So what I wrote, just to try and capture
Sure.
what you were saying, was I wrote, I cannot get out of bed, but I would like to be able to turn lights on and off with a remote.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have another suggestion or any other things you'd want to comment on?
Geez, you know what? Offhand, like, he's with me a lot. What do you think?
Well, I mean, that's the only thing that you've ever mentioned to me.
Yeah.
So that seems to be the one thing that's it's a minor annoyance, but it is one just the same. And yeah. But other than that, it seems to me you've been really satisfied with absolutely everything that's happened here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Netflix and Amazon Prime
Hey,
would be nice.
perfect, yeah. I mean, the perfect scenario.
Yes, yeah. Utopia or heaven.
I guess it's an opportunity for the perfect thing.
The
Like
option.
a lot of people here, I've been introduced to Netflix and like Amazon Prime in terms of the TV.
Yeah, yeah.
If they could have TVs with PVRs that you could actually record something,
Yeah.
because the only thing I found painful here is watching some of the commercials.
I feel your pain, Ron.
And if I could avoid some of those commercials,
I feel your pain.
yeah. But that's the only other thing I could think of.
How'd you know we've never even asked if those are optional, Netflix and Prime? Maybe it's there, we just gotta ask.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
worth
know.
asking, right?
Do you want my comment to be
Sure.
that TV service could be better, such as Netflix?
Perfect,
Something
yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if the TVs were connected to a PVR,
Yeah.
then you'd have access to more stations.
Yeah.
You'd be able to control. You'd
Yeah.
be able to zip through those stupid commercials.
Ron, you're a Prime customer. You
Yeah.
want to deprive them of that? Come on. Yeah, and actually, like I imagine, there's more and more people that move into here are probably leaving these services behind at home,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
they are.
A lot of people have Netflix and Amazon Prime, so
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's kind of a trend. Like, I'm still the old person with the cable and the satellite dish,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
I've
yeah.
never been on Netflix.
yeah. But you have satellite, so you have
Yeah.
some stuff you
So
don't get on.
absolutely,
Yeah.
but I have a choice of PVRing, absolutely.
Yeah,
So I just wrote TV service could be better, and then I listed off PVR, Netflix, or Prime.
Right.
yeah,
Right.
wonderful.
Okay.
Like, have you heard of a Roku stick?
No.
It's a stick like that you could plug into the side of your TV.
Mhm.
It's about $35,
Okay.
and with that you can get Netflix
Oh,
and you can get
interesting.
Prime, which
Okay.
is incredible
Okay.
amount of movies and that.
Yeah.
And with that, it doesn't pay for the Netflix or the Prime, but you have access to it, and you can just subscribe with your remote
Okay.
to those services.
Yeah. Okay.
And like I say, the stick is $35.
Yeah. Okay.
Plus, you got access to things like YouTube and
Yeah.
other things.
Yeah.
It's an amazing device.
Yeah.
And we just got it, like we started using, and I don't think I'm a computer whiz by any
No.
stretch.
Well,
No, you're not. I'll
certainly-
vouch for that, Ron.
Yeah. And we put in our Visa number, and boom, we love it ever since.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I should look. It never even occurred to me. Maybe we can just get a Roku stick for you. I mean, if there's internet coming into this thing, and there is, I don't know if it's HDMI or whatever it is, I can certainly find out. If this is internet, then yeah, why not? Let's get you a Roku set up in here. And
Is it like a USB stick?
yes,
So yeah,
yeah,
plugs into a USB
it plugs
port?
into a USB port,
Okay.
or an HDMI port.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah,
Interesting.
Well, I've got just trying to think here. Have I got 2 Roku sticks?
well, I don't know because
I got one for the family room.
one for the family room and the one in the dining room. You didn't need a Roku because you had a smart TV. That was a smart
Right.
TV. It already had a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
on it. So
Yeah. But that's okay. No, I don't need it here.
no, you don't. Okay.
But it's a
Yeah,
great
it's a
suggestion
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's a great
for
suggestion.
future
Absolutely.
patients.
Okay.
Definitely.
So, if you don't have any other comments, I'll just go
No.
back what I have here. So we gave it a 10 out of 10 for the overall experience.
Right?
We said that the staff always treat you with dignity and respect.
Right?
And then under the open-ended questions, I put, I cannot get out of bed. I would like to be able to turn lights on and off with a remote. And the TV service could be better, PVR, Netflix, or Prime.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So if you think
that's
that kind of
basically
captures it,
it captures it.
okay.
Yeah.
So I'll hit submit if you're good with that. Okay,
Please.
yeah. Thank you very much for helping out.
Hey,
Okay.
Thanks,
It was
thank you.
nice to meet you.
Yeah, I spoke to I mentioned that to the nurses and that, and
Yeah.
they said, that's a good question, but I have no clue as to why they don't allow it.
We have no idea, Ron. That's a good question.
But it would cut down our work,
Yeah. Yeah.
and if it does that, right?
Yeah. You just let me see.
I have no idea.